A few weeks ago, I made this video, and I really enjoyed making it. So, in this video, I'm going to be doing it again, but with different projects. So, let's go ahead and get started. Starting out, I have a fence picket, and I'm going to cut off this awkward end here. Next, I'm going to take and cut 3 pieces to 12 inches. Next, you're going to cut 2 pieces at 6 inches and 2 pieces at 8. These are all the boards we're going to need to cut. We're going to need to cut 2 6-inch boards and 1 12-inch board. I'm going to start by cutting the 12-inch board into 2.5-inch pieces. Next, I'm going to rip one of the 6-inch boards into 2.5-inch strips. And finally, with the last 6-inch long piece, you're going to set your saw to 1 inch and cut 2 strips off. Next, set your saw to 2.5 inches and cut this down. Alright, that's all the pieces ripped. Now, gotta go back over to the miter saw. Alright, the next step is you're gonna take your 2 12-inch long boards that are still intact, and you're gonna find the center. And the next step is to set your saw to as far as the miter will go. Mine goes to 60, but 45 would be just fine. And then line up the teeth on your blade to right on that mark, and then cut both sides. Alright, so the next step is you're going to take the board that you just cut the angles on, and you're going to measure how far it is from the bottom to where your angle is. And mine is like a little bit over 7 inches. So next, I'm going to take the 2 1-foot long, 2.5-inch wide boards, and I'm going to mark it at 7 inches. And then mark on the top at 70 inches, or 60 inches rather. Alright, so the next step, you're going to take these and put 60-degree angles on them. Alright, next you're going to take all the small pieces. These are all the 6-inch long ones. I have the 2 that are 1 inch wide, and then 3 that are 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to start by finding the center of one of them. And again, I still have my saw set to 60 degrees, and I'm going to make it come to a point right at the mark. Alright, I gotta cut off a little more. That does not look symmetrical. Sorry it's so loud. The neighbor's over there mowing, but this is what it should look like. Next, I'm going to take, and these pieces need to be cut to fit in right here. So I'll make a mark like right here. That's where your cut needs to be. Do the same thing on the other side. Mark right here. And these should fit perfectly just right in here. Just like that. Alright, I actually made a mistake when cutting these. These 2 pieces that are 2.5 inches wide actually need to be 2 inches, not 2.5. Alright, now with these 2 pieces here, they're the 2-inch wide ones. You're going to cut it about 4 inches long to the point, and it's going to be at a 60-degree angle too. Alright, for the next step, you're going to put your saw back to 0 degrees and cut a landscape timber to about 24 inches long. For the final part of the project, I'm going to use this piece of poplar that I have. I normally wouldn't use this kind of wood for something like this, but I didn't have any 1x12s, so this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to cut off the end here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and square these up. Alright, now time for assembly. All these small parts here, all these go together. And then all the big parts right here, they go together. And these are kind of like separate pieces that'll go on later. So I'm going to start with this stack here. So from the top of only one of the boards, I'm going to mark down 3 inches right there. And then I'm going to find the center. And then you're going to make like an X right here. So 3 inches down and in the center. And then draw out a hole here. And I need something to put underneath it. Alright, now with that hole drilled out, I'm going to go ahead and take these pieces right here. These are the longer, like 2.5 inch wide pieces, and they're going to go on each side like that. So I'm going to glue and bride nail them on. Next, for the roof, I'm going to center it best I can by eye, and it'll just go on just like that. Alright, the next step is to take this piece here and then mark down 2 inches and then make a cross in the middle. Just like that. And then with a 3/4 inch drill bit, you're going to drill right here. For the next step, you're going to find and put it as close to the center as you possibly can. I think that looks pretty good right there. And then mark each side. Just like that. And then put some glue on these little pieces. And they're going to go on each side just like this. I'm not using very long bride nails, so I'm going to use plenty of glue. Next, put glue on top and put this on top of it. And the neighbor's mowing again. But the next step is to put glue here and then take one of these and put glue on the bottom. And it goes on just like this. Glue on all this here. And glue on the side. Alright, so with the birdhouse itself put together, I'm going to show you how to put together the rest of it. This is going to be the stand, so one of these will go right here to hold it up so it'll be steady. And then on the top of here, this will go on here, and then the birdhouse will be on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it together. Now, if you want the birdhouse to be like cleanable and not for like just decoration, then you can put screws in the bottom, but for this one I'm just going to put in some bride nails. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this piece to the bottom here. This is the finished product, and this is how much I made it for, and this is how much it sells for at Hobby Lobby. For the next project, I'm going to start with a fence picket and cut 2 pieces to 12 inches. Next, at the table saw, I'm going to set my saw to 1 inch. I'm going to cut both of these boards into 1 inch strips. I ended up with 7 strips, so I'm going to start by setting 3 of them aside, and then I'm going to take these 4 over the miter saw. I'm going to set my saw to 45 degrees. Cut off all the ends at a 45-degree angle. Next, take your square or tape measure or whatever and measure up 3 inches from the tip, and then mark all the way across, and then from there you're going to find the center, so 1/2 inch. From that point you're going to go up 45 here and 45 on the other side. Just like that. Alright, next I gotta cut this, and I'm gonna do these one at a time and use my push stick because these are so small. So just continue to cut these until you have 12 of them. Alright, this is my reference picture right here, and this is what it's gonna turn out like. Now, I didn't cut these circles down here because I don't feel like cutting off my fingers today, but if you want to, then you can go right ahead. So these are gonna go kind of like that, and then these will go on like this. I'm gonna start out by putting all of them at the bottom. So I'm going to take my speed square and mark at 33 degrees. That kind of give me an idea of where I need to put this. Alright, so I actually made 12 instead of 24 of these things, so I'm going to have to go ahead and cut some more. It took way too long. Time to finish it. And here's the finished product. This is how much I made it for, and this is how much it sells for at Hobby Lobby.